President Donald Trump signed an executive order this week that allows for the deportation of students and other foreign nationals who express support for groups designated as terrorist organizations by the U.S. government. The executive order, titled Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorist and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats, specifically applies to those who support, aid, or promote terrorist activities. The Department of Homeland Security is now authorized to take immediate action to remove such individuals unless it would interfere with national security or ongoing investigations. This move has drawn attention to the participants of pro-Palestinian rallies held at college campuses following the October 7th attack on Israel. Some foreign students who participated in these rallies could be affected if they were advocating for Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist group. At these rallies, Hamas symbols and flags were worn and flown by some participants in the crowds. President Trump has long criticized extremist views on U.S. college campuses, and during his campaign, he pledged to take action against any foreign nationals promoting anti-American or violent ideologies. However, some critics of the executive action argue it could impede on free speech. The Council on American Islamic Relations issued a statement saying the order threatens an unprecedented crackdown on free speech and legal immigration based on vague, subjective, and unenforceable criteria. The administration is now tasked with reviewing visa issuance practices, and a report is due to the president in 60 days, outlining which countries may face stricter restrictions. The order also strengthens the vetting process for foreign nationals, requiring enhanced screening for anyone seeking to enter or already in the U.S. The government will be looking particularly closely at nationals from countries identified as having security risks. Thanks for watching our news update.
I think this is good. Trump is probably not willing to deport students, but is willing to deport anybody that is supporting terrorist organization. And these Hamas supporters, these pro-Hamas protesters, they are basically burning American flags. They are basically chanting Hamas on the street. They are impeding college campuses and blocking students for going to classroom. This has been going on for way too long, and I think it is totally normal for the government to act and act quickly to basically prevent these pro-Hamas supporters to do any more damage.
Netanyahu will reportedly meet with Trump in Washington as soon as next week. Former U.S. Ambassador to NATO Kurt Volker joins me now. Mr. Ambassador, is Netanyahu looking for permission to finish the job with Hamas and Hezbollah?
I think he's looking to strategize. I think he knows that in President Trump, he has someone who fundamentally wants to support Israel's security. We are going to have Israel's back going forward in this administration. And he does need to clean Hamas out of the Gaza Strip. But he wants to work together now with the U.S. on how to do that. And I think that's a salutary turn of events compared to where we've been.
Where does the ceasefire stand now that we have 8 hostages killed?
Well, it's not a surprise that the hostages are killed. They were probably killed a long time ago. But what we see is that Hamas is beginning to actually say, okay, we need a ceasefire. We're going to release hostages. They are responding to the fact that Trump is going to be targeting them directly and that Iran is in Trump's sights as well. So they are actually moving forward. There are always hiccups when you try to implement a ceasefire or a hostage deal, but it's clear that Hamas now wants to do this because they know that the penalties will be very high if they don't.
Mr. Ambassador, Trump signed an executive order to create an Iron Dome missile defense shield for the United States. Watch this.
I'll be signing 4 new executive orders. First is that I'm directing our new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who's what we need, to immediately begin the construction of a state-of-the-art Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will be able to protect Americans. You see that with Israel. We're out of 319 rockets. They knocked down just about every one of them. So I think the United States is entitled to that, and everything will be made right here in the USA, 100%.
Mr. Ambassador, this reminds me of Ronald Reagan introducing Star Wars anti-missile technology 40 years ago. He was ridiculed then I suspect that there will be some ridicule of Mr. Trump for the Iron Dome, but I don't think it's right. Do you think we should get one of these things?
Well, first off, I know what he means. What he's talking about is missile defense protection for the United States. And I think that is exactly right. We see a proliferation of missile defense technology, whether it's Iran, whether it's North Korea. We always have to keep an eye on Russia. So yes, having a good missile defense system is essential. Iron Dome is a particular system. It's short range. We're not going to have artillery fired at the U.S., but longer range missile threats, that is real. And one of the things that's different from Star Wars is that when Ronald Reagan was pursuing this, it was only really focused on the Soviet Union and intercontinental ballistic missiles from Russia, and it was bankrupting the Soviet Union. This time, I think we face many more actors, and the risk of missile attacks on the United States is actually greater than it was in the 1980s. And so it is very much merited to be talking about what we can do for missile defense.
President Trump is flexing his military muscle, his military clout. Do you think our allies like that?
It's interesting. The allies are a little concerned because they don't know what it means. And remember, last week he pointedly did not say that he would rule out using military force to take Greenland, which of course belongs to Denmark, an ally. So they're a little nervous about that. But what I think President Trump is doing is reestablishing deterrence. If you think back over the past few years, our adversaries were not deterred because they felt that the Biden administration did not want to escalate, did not want to confront them. So we saw wars in Europe, wars in the Middle East, threats in Asia. Trump is reestablishing deterrence by focusing on American military capabilities.
Got it.
And that's good. I think he's totally right right there. I think it is a priority for the government and its number one job to protect its citizens at any cost necessary. It is his job from the president and the government to ensure the safety and security of its citizens. So if it means building an Iron Dome, I think he should do it.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is with us. Madam Secretary, great to have you. Boy, that didn't take long. You got to work really, really quick. You were out in protective vests. You were embedded with ICE last night. You got these dirt bags, as you called them, including the Tren de Aragua ringleader, which is a huge get, I think, for your department and for Tom Homan and for all these agents. Congratulations on a successful raid last night in New York.
Well, Sean, we've just gotten started. We are picking up the worst of the worst in this country that are making our streets so dangerous. And so, yes, we did encounter and incarcerate a Tren de Agua member, one of the ringleaders. He had warrants out for his arrest in Colorado. In fact, he was one of those that we saw on some of the video from that apartment building that they had taken over and had perpetuated so much violence there. So this was a good morning for our agents and the cooperation with the NYPD and ATF and DEA. We had a great partnership going and did several of these arrests, and the community is safer now. That's the reality of it. Everybody who has been concerned about walking their children to school or spending and doing business in these communities now know that New York City is safer because these dangerous criminals are gone and they're no longer living in their community.
What a difference a couple of days can make. I mean, I saw when you were sworn in by Clarence Thomas. I was very happy for you. We've known each other a long time. You did a great job as governor. Seeing you, though, out with agents in that protective ICE vest, embedded with these federal agents and going after target in New York. I also understand it. You got a number of criminal illegal aliens, those with kidnapping, assault charges, burglary charges. This was a very successful raid.
It was, and I appreciate the president following through on what he promised the American people. He promised them he would make America safe, and that's exactly what we're doing. So going in all night long and doing these targeted raids against these criminal aliens was very specific, and we pulling them out. Obviously, we're going to gather more information about some more of the criminals that are out there doing these activities. So this ringleader had just tried to buy some grenades. He had been a part of a gun buy before. We talk about families that are losing their kids to violence. They're losing our next generation of American to drugs. These folks are perpetuating that, and we're going to get them out of here. and make sure that we're continuing to build on that and know that the American people are truly being heard, that they're being listened to, and that these agents are going out with the support that they need and the cooperation of local governments to do what they need to do.
Amazing. Honestly, we could not have asked for better than this. Trump is starting his presidency, his next 4 years with a bang, restoring American pride, stopping illegal immigration, making the streets safer by removing criminal aliens. It's amazing. I think he's gonna do great things and ensuring the safety and security of the American people. He promised a lot of things during his campaign, and he's probably gonna do a lot of them, starting with immigration. And next would come the economy, stopping inflation from rising and rising and rising, and making sure the cost of living goes down. This is probably gonna take a while before we can see any real price changes on a daily basis. And then you have wars all over the world, in the Middle East, in Europe, that should be stopped. I hope Trump will bring peace and prosperity back to America and to the other continent all over the world. I hope this is gonna happen, and I believe he's gonna do great things over the next 4 years. We will see, and we will report it all right there on the channel. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here as always, and click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye bye.